All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market prep. Hope everyone had an amazing day yesterday and hope you're having an amazing morning today. So hopefully you guys can hear us okay, see us okay. We did several changes and several testing yesterday, so normal won't have to do any sign languages today. So all right, guys, welcome and let's get to it. Very exciting day yesterday. Again, we had a pretty good watch list. Bank of America was the one I traded. We're not going to go through the ones that we traded in the chat room, but again, it's just a really good day. A lot of stocks that traded very well at the open yesterday. So, Norm, let's get into the SPY. What we have going on today? I know we have probably some big. All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pre-market prep. Some big earnings that we're going to be watching today as well. But kind of give us the market portion.
Yeah, we got earnings, we got economic data, we got all kinds of stuff going on today. So, let's see here. Just a few minutes ago, right at the bottom of the hour, we had retail sales and Empire State Index that came out. Retail sales actually came out a little bit better than expected for March. I thought, and now I'm reading something that says to the contrary of that. And the let me check this data because I've got two conflicting reports here. One of them might be a mistake, so I don't want to repeat that. So anyway, I'll look at that in a minute. Anyway, we're down almost 2.5%. Kind of been a grind since yesterday after, after the market. I apologize. Now I'm the one having issues. Maybe I should go back to sign language. After the pop we had yesterday, market selling back most of that. And economic data as far as today, we've got what I've already mentioned, and we've got business inventories, home builders index at 10 o'clock. And then tomorrow we've got jobless claims, housing starts, and the Philly Fed index. So those should be interesting as well. A couple of things going on here. I'm noticing some really, most of our list this morning on the gappers are groups. You've got the airlines that late yesterday pretty much all came out and said that they're going to take government support in return for not laying off or furloughing workers before October. So that's popped them up since they're going to get that assistance. You've got banks which are reporting. This morning you had Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, Citigroup, Bank of America. It was a mixed bag for the most part. Goldman Sachs beat, and the others were kind of somewhere, not great. But analysts trying to predict these earnings right now, it's one of those that's next to impossible. The other kind of cluster that's in there are the oil stocks, which have been in a play a ton recently. Oil's dropped below $20 a barrel this morning, so that's hitting them pretty hard, and a lot of them are at the very bottom of the list there.
All right, excellent. Yeah, it's funny how only all the airlines are the ones that are up this morning. So interesting to see that. All right, guys, let's get to this list. Again, we have a lot of stuff gapping down. Obviously, the market is giving some back today, but it's been on a pretty nice run here, bouncing back pretty nice, getting back to 285. I did not think personally it was going to get up to this level so fast. All right, we had a huge drop here, obviously hitting down to the 220s, and we did tip into 285 yesterday. So today we're giving some back. Obviously, as news is coming out with these and earnings, this company's taking a little bit of a hit. And you can see how this is dragging the SPY down a little bit. Some of the numbers that Norm was talking about. So let's get to it, guys. Let's start with what's trading green. Then we'll look at the top 5 that are down this morning and see how we can build a nice list out of this today. So let's make some room here and let's start over with the airlines. So we have JetBlue, the first one up this morning. This one is up 6%, 7% right now. 667,000 shares traded. It's funny, this thing was up even higher, all the way up to 1060 or so up in this area, giving some back here in the pre-market at the moment. So good pre-market activity right now. It's got a nice flow to it, some good volume. Let's see how the other ones are doing. Let's look at American Airlines. This one has 4 million shares traded. Usually American Airlines has more volume than JetBlue does. JetBlue is a little bit on the lighter side. So 4 million on this one here. Very similar pattern as well in this pre-market. Again, you got the nice pop, kind of like a double top here and then kind of heading back down. Still green, 4%. But you can see a lot of these were a lot higher earlier on and we're just kind of dropping down. The market could be dropping this a little bit as well. Aside from the good news they had, it could be kind of pulling them down and weighing them down towards that previous day close line. I'm going to look at some other airlines. We'll go back to Tesla. Tesla is very interesting. I saw that earlier this morning. It's great to see what's happening there. Here's Southwest Airlines. Again, another one that has a lighter volume. I'm going to skip on this one. Volume is very, very light, but very similar pre-market activity as well. Here's Delta. Delta's a good one. Has always been trading pretty clean during this time. You can see here very clean pre-market activity. Very similar drop as well. And also up 3.3%. 4% this morning, but 2.2 million shares traded right now. So again, great pre-market, great action there. And then we'll look at TG. What's TG? Is that an airline? TGE? No, that's something. That's Tall Grass Energy. So crappy, guys. Nothing fun here. We'll skip on that one. United Airlines is the one that we'll look at next. And oh, that's not the right ticker. United Airlines. That should look something more like this. Okay, so also great volume on here. So American Airlines, Delta, and United, they all have great volume. All three of these look very good. JetBlue has good volume, 672. That's not bad. But this is again a smaller price tag as well, at $9. I really like this $20 range. 12, above $10 is pretty nice. So between Delta and United Airlines, what I'm going to watch today. American Airlines is great too. But again, we'll pick the best one. I'm going to drop off JetBlue out of this group already, and we'll keep American, Delta, and United. We'll pick the best one out of those. But again, you can, right now, the way this looks, you cannot go wrong with anyone you pick out of this bunch. They all are trading very clean, very well, and you can see some really good pre-market activity with American Airlines leading the way with 4 million shares here. Now let's go back up. I'm going to look at Tesla, because Tesla, man, this daily chart, I saw this earlier, has been unbelievable. Just look at what Tesla has been doing over the last couple of days. So a nice breakout here above 575. Had a huge day all the way up to 650. Yesterday gaps up to 700. Does pop up. It does hold. Does not give it back. And today we're gapping up another 4.5 when the market is dropping. Norm, what's going on with Tesla, man? It's great to see what's happening here.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? They got an upgrade out of Goldman. Goldman Sachs this morning at the price target of $864.
Wow. Wow. So again, it's been incredible. Look at the rebound on Tesla over the last couple of days has been very nice to see. And just again, the last 3 days we have been just trucking it pretty nice all the way up to as high as 762 this morning, high of the pre-market. So definitely want to keep an eye on Tesla, guys. This is getting very nice to see kind of what's going on there right now. 1 million shares traded, great pre-market activity at the moment. Very clean, has a nice little
That's
pop
super
here.
heavy for Tesla pre-market.
Yeah, and again, it reminds me a little bit of the crazy times that we had here, where although Tesla was popping up like crazy, it was hard to hold any position through this because man, the moves were so wild. So let's see. Hopefully, it doesn't get too crazy. At the moment, it looks very clean, very good. Hopefully, the open continues to trade nicely the way that's doing right now. So, guys, that kind of covers everything that's gapping up into the green this morning, with the majority, the airline leading the way here. So let's go down to see what's gapping down. So we have a nice one here gapping down over 20%. CHK. This one's gapping down 27. But this doesn't look great at all. This looks like it's Cheesecake Factory. Man, what's the deal with
No,
these
this is
guys?
Chesapeake Energy.
Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. Chesapeake Energy. What's the deal with these guys? Is a buyout or what's happening?
Well, no, they had a reverse split recently.
Oh, okay, that
I
would
think it
do
was a
it.
1 for 200 because this thing was trading like a penny stock. This was
Yeah,
actually a $15-20 stock a few years ago, 10 years ago or so. And then
okay,
there's just
okay.
been such a glut of natural gas that it was trading for pennies. Now they've done a reverse split on it. So that's what's going on here.
Gotcha. Norm, can you explain what a reverse split is? I know when I first started, I had no idea what that was, and I thought it was a good thing. I'm like, oh, this is great. You went from, if you own the stock at 40 cents, now you can trade it in at $19. You're caking, but that's not the case.
Yeah, no. So, a lot of people know about stock splits. When a stock price goes high, I apologize for the
No worries, man.
for my sidekick this morning. As most of you know, if you've watched the show before on Wednesday morning, since my wife's working from home, she's got a conference call. I got to take care of him. He stays with me during this time on Wednesday. So anyway, reverse stock split. We'll talk about the what you encounter more often than a reverse split first, and that is if a stock price goes up and the company wants to keep it kind of in a range that they deem as affordable or more attractive for people to buy. Let's say a stock goes to $200 and they want it to be 50, so they'll give you they'll give you four shares for each one and cut it by by 4 so that it evens out. You've got, instead of 1 share at 200, you get 4 at 50. It adds no value. Your count stays exactly the same. Reverse split is usually done when a stock has gone down so much it's trading for pennies. A lot of times they'll do it when it's under $1, because the exchanges, you have to keep your stock price above $1 or else they'll delist it. So a 200 for 1, if you had a 10-cent stock and you did 200 for 1, it would be what, $20. So you'd get, for every 200 shares of the 10-cent stock, you'd get 1 share at 20 the next morning when you woke up.
Yep. So again, that's how that works, guys. If you didn't know, now you know what the situation is here. So that type of stock, that type of news,
reverse stock splits are usually not a good thing.
Yeah, they're not
it's
a good
usually thing. It usually means the company's in trouble if they have to do reverse splits on their stock to keep listed.
And most likely they probably, again, not the case, cannot be the case in this one. Most likely they just want to keep going down. So again, just be careful with that. So that news, guys, not great trading. CHK, we'll skip on this one. Let's go over to APA, the next one on our list here. We'll do the bottom 5 that are in here this morning. So APA is dropping down 9.4. It's got a decent pre-market activity. We got some volume here, 439,000 shares traded right now. Pre-market is not that bad. Now this one is one that tends to trade pretty choppy, but right now pre-market is decent. We can definitely watch it. They're down quite a bit. You can see here we got a nice rejection of this 9 level. The last couple of days has been red days that we're booking here. So again, the spike could be moving this down unless you have any type of other news on APA this morning.
Sorry, man. My son, like I said, my son is in here talking, so I muted for a second,
no worries,
and then he finally realized he's on the TV back there, or on the our YouTube feed on one of my screens. This goes APA, HAL, BP, Oxy, SLB. Those are all going to be this oil hit. So that's what's going on.
Okay. All right. So these are all the oil companies: APA, I know how, BP, of course, Oxy, and SLB. So again, I think Oxy has been trading really clean out of all of these. We've been watching that one a little bit tighter. So let's just quickly look at Oxy and see what that's doing. I usually don't like to trade some of these oil stocks, but again, Oxy seems to be the one to have. You can see right now it has a cleaner pre-market activity. The only issue with Oxy, I'll warn you now, is sometimes the drop happen just out of nowhere. And even the pops, like here, this is the pre-market, you're not going to get a good feel for that. But in the intraday, you can see some of these pops and drops just happen really out of nowhere. So we'll keep an eye on Oxy. APA also seems a little bit better this morning than most of the time. So we'll look at these two. We'll pick the best one. If we are going to even watch those, we might have better stuff that's trading this morning. SPCE, this one was making a nice pop yesterday. Today we're down a bit, 7% this morning. Great pre-market activity. Could be one to watch today. Again, very explosive yesterday. So we'll put SPCE on this list. Let's look at.
I'm not seeing anything fresh on SPCE.
Okay, so you just be moving with the market at the moment.
Just pulling back a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So let's look at. We have the first cruise line ship on here, NCLH. This one is has a good pre-market activity, some good volume, 434,000 right now. It is down 6.8. But let's take a look at what the other ones look like. Let's look at CCL, which is one that usually has incredible volume. This one has 1.2 right now, only down 5.2 at the moment. So we'll look at CCL. NCLH could be a good one as well. Again, it tends to trade very clean, guys. A little bit less active than CCL, so still worth giving it a look at. But CCL, you can tell already got some really nice volume here and a great pre-market activity. What's the other cruise line?
Yeah, these cruise ships are going down because some of them, including CCL for sure, have extended their cancellations and such. So they're getting hit on that.
Yeah, that's gonna hurt them pretty bad, man. I mean, again, it's gonna take some time for people to start actually going back to normal. I mean, some people are just trying to get back to work, let alone thinking about vacation time. So here's RCL right now taking a nice dive as well, down 6.6. The pre-market on RCL is interesting as well. All three of these look pretty good, guys. We're gonna keep them all on here. Obviously, CCL tends to always drive it with the volume 1.2, and NCL APHA also has got a good pre-market, not as much volume, and RCL's got a nice drop here as well. So we'll look at all those three. They are leading the gap down this morning. Aside from some of these energy and oil companies, the cruise lines are taking the hit today, as you can see here. Let's look at Citigroup is on this list this morning. Citigroup is kind of gapping down a little bit. Now, I know Bank of America reported this morning. Did Citigroup report at all, or they're just moving with the market? We have a gap down here, 4%, 288,000 shares traded right now. And actually, pre-market for this banking stock does look pretty decent. So I am going to watch this one on here.
Yeah, they've got a good catalyst. They had earnings this morning. They beat their earnings by just a hair. Their revenues were okay. But I think estimates were kind of all over the place.
Yeah.
So it's like I mentioned earlier, it's hard for the analysts to know.
Right. Well,
What's
what's really good news and bad news? Yeah, it was really good news and bad news, and also how much of this, bad news that again, a lot of companies are going to be reporting bad earnings or bad guidance, whatever the case may be. It's not going to be great. We know that, but how much is already in this drop? Right. The stock is going to have some value. How much is already baked into this drop that we had? Because we knew things were going to get bad. So it's tough. Like you mentioned, Norm, it's tough for analysts to figure out, where to put these stocks at. They have a really tough job right now. So here's Citigroup. Again, it's got some decent volume. Okay, pre-market activity. Let's take a look at Bank of America. I know they tend to trend a little bit better than Citigroup. I think this will be the one to watch today. So I'm going to take off Citigroup and add Bank of America, BAC. They have 881,000 shares traded, and they are down 4.1 this morning with a good pre-market activity. So let's keep an eye on that one. This is the one I traded twice, Monday and Tuesday, guys, and it's been trading so clean in the intraday. That first open has been really, really nice and clean. Look at it here. This was yesterday. Beautiful drop here. It couldn't get above the VWAP, and it just dropped nicely. Most of it, I think, was following JPM, more of a sympathy play. JPM also took a very nice hit yesterday, so hopefully you guys took advantage of that. Actually, I know you guys took advantage of that because I saw the messages in the chat room, people trading that stock yesterday. So let's take a look at all the banking.
Yeah, and they missed earnings and revenues for Bank of America. So
yeah, so they're feeling it this morning, obviously. Let's take a look at the rest of the banking stocks we have here. Let's look at JP Morgan. They were very active yesterday. They are also dropping today now, as well, down 3.5. This could be a good one for a continuation, guys. I don't want to make this list too long, but you cannot pass out on how great this looks right now. Again, I'm not a fan of JPM, but you cannot pass up on how good this is looking at the moment. Let's take a look at WFC. I saw some people early on put this in the chat room. This could be a good one as well, but I think Bank of America is it has a better pre-market activity right now, and JPM, although it might be a little more expensive as it's dropping here, but again, I think these two have a better pre-market activity and action at the moment than West Fargo does, and West Fargo tends to, WFC, yeah, West Fargo tends to not trade as clean. So again, that's just one of the things on there compared to within all the banking stocks themselves. All right, so let's take a look. What else we have here that we might have missed? Let's look at Macy's and MGM, and then I'm going to throw it over to you guys to see what you guys have on your end that you like this morning. MGM, again, just kind of chopping sideways a little bit here. It's down 4.1, so this is why it's on our gappers list all the way up here with some good volume, 216, but I'm not seeing anything great on the daily. Opposed to like a JPM, Bank of America, these guys are, again, they have a nice little drop here, leaving this area of support that they have for the last couple of days, this previous day close, area of prior resistance. They're getting below that, so that's going to be interesting this morning. And also, some of these got a catalyst like Bank of America. And also, the entire financial sector, guys, is not looking all that great. If you look at, you can look at Finvis. Finvis has a nice heat map. You can look at that. You can look how the financial sector is taking a bit of a hit in the last couple of days. What else we have here? Norm, what do you like this morning?
one specific one with the catalyst. First of all, have you looked at Roku yet? Because I'm going to have my eye on that, and that's more of a continuation than fresh news. But
yeah,
I really like UNH. They reported this morning. They actually did. They beat their estimates, and they're saying they're going to have a minimum. The impact from COVID-19 will be minimal, and they actually held their guidance, which nobody's doing.
Wow, that's impressive. They're doing that. And pre-market for this stock, guys, by the way, is never pretty. For the most part, does not mean that it cannot trade well. Had a big day last week here, nice little pop here, and you kind of held. You have a nice little drop here, but it's kind of been holding. And in the daily is in a very interesting level. We're right above this, the great support we had here, an area of support and resistance right across this line. Although the daily looks very nice, you can see how the days are reacting around this 270 level, 275 level. So definitely worth keeping an eye on, guys, especially with that type of catalyst. Even if we don't make it on our main list, this could be a good one for a secondary list this morning. Let's take a look at what you guys have in the chat room. Let's start with our chat here. SQ. No, SQQQ, that's a NASDAQ indicator. So again, just kind of the SQQQ is a NASDAQ ETF, just kind of follows what the SPY is doing in the NASDAQ in the opposite direction. Okay. Let's see, APDN. APDN, what do we have here? So APDN this morning, Applied DNA Science looks like. Let's check what the float is. I'm going to bring the trade ideas screen over here, APDN, and let's see what the float is on this one, what we have going on. So 2.9 million shares floated. I knew it looked a little bit funky with the way this daily candle looks like. Usually when you have this type of stuff here, it's not great. So that's a low flow stock. And again, with the type of watch list we're building over the last couple of days, with these great companies that are trading so clean and you're getting so much volatility, I'm really not spending time on these low flow stocks. Now, if this is your style, this is definitely one that's active today. 1.8 million shares traded, up 53%. You definitely got the volume. No shares for short, but again, I'm not going to add it to my list, guys, because I know I'm not even going to be paying attention to this one for the reason that it's just a low flow stock. We have so much clean stuff trading here. I'm going to really be focused on this here. Let's look at UNH we do have on here. So Hector, thank you for that. Ethan's giving us J&J. J&J has been on the news quite a bit. They have a lot going on. They're also up nicely. They also have a nice little bounce here. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Tesla, right? Tesla's got a nice bounce, recovering almost to the levels that they were trading at, right? So that's great to see here. Now, J&J, typical horrible pre-market activity does not mean that it's not a great stock to watch, but I'm going to add this on. I'm going to have a secondary list right on here, guys, because I think we're going to need it. So J&J and UNH are two that, again, they're pre-market right now. If it was a regular stock, you wouldn't even pay attention to it. But these two, that's a regular pre-market activity for them. They could be very active today. mRNA, let's look at that one. Let's go up here. mRNA this morning. What do we have here? So mRNA bouncing back nicely as well. I haven't looked at it in quite a few days, but you can see here we're getting back to the high that we had all the way up here, going back about a month and a half ago. So that's interesting. Today, the pre-market is looking, again, also just horrible pre-market activity. Last 2 days have been nice and green, getting back to this area of heavy resistance, where we have seen it get here several times around this range and has not been able to hold. The difference now is that we're making some serious higher lows on the way up here. So usually when you have this type of pattern, it can signify a possible breakout. Maybe we can break out of 36 this time, right? That's the high, the most recent high a month and a half ago. So again, daily looks interesting. Pre-market not as great, volume not as great. So this I'm going to throw down over into our potential pile for a possible, if we can have time and space to get to it. But I see what you're looking at on this one, but possible breakout in this area. Let's take a look at what else. Love, LUV. So LUV is Southwest Airlines. This one here, guys, again, not great on the pre-market at the moment compared to, again, just look at United, look at Delta, and then look at American Airlines. These three are killing it right now when it comes to volume and great pre-market activity. So this is the ones I'll be watching. I'm going to pick two of these or maybe just one because we do have some really good stuff on here. I want to watch a banking stock. I want to watch probably CCL or NCLH. I want to watch Space, maybe Space got a good pre-market as well. So, and then Tesla, you got to watch Teslas. And then we have our good possibles. Roku actually, I was going to put down Roku as a possible, but they do have some good volume. They're trading actually pretty nice here this morning. So I'm not going to throw that down there as a possible. It's starting to look very good. APHA, why does this sound familiar? Oh no, I'm confusing it with APA. No, this is different. So this one here, guys, I'm not liking the pre-market right now. This is up 16.8. What is the float on this? Let's bring this up. just to check what do we have here. APHA. This okay, so it's not a low flow stock. It is a lower price stock, which again I tend not to like anything up under $5. Not saying this one cannot trade very well. It's very active this morning, up 15.9, 1 million shares traded at the moment. So again, guys, I'm not sure what to think about this one. Again, pre-market is looks decent, but I'm just not liking the fact that it's this low price stock right here. So what's the news on this one, by the way? Does anybody know what's popping this one up
It's
this morning?
surprising to me that you can buy a share of APHA for it's they had earnings this morning. Sorry, Carlos.
Oh,
I
this is
forgot I was even on right here.
no, it's okay. Oh, this is the pot stock. I forgot about this. Yes, of course. Yeah, I haven't looked at this in a while. Yeah, we traded this quite a bit before. They're not fun anymore as they used to be. The CGC, the Chronos, they're we haven't look at Chronos. Look how choppy this thing has been. We used to trade this quite a bit. But yeah, we're not, and APHA, whatever, was not really the one that I traded. I always looked at CORN or CGC, were the two that really trade very well. This one here, guys, again, I don't like it. I don't like the pre-market, the price action on APHA. Again, you have to take a lot of shares to get a decent sized move. So I don't really like this one at all. So I'm going to skip on that one. But again, they have news today. If you want to watch it, great. I can put it down here as a possible. If we can get to it, we'll do some levels. But I'm really not a fan of this one. If it was CRON or CGC, I do like the way these trades, when they are in play, they can be a lot cleaner. CGC, even with the choppiness here, you could see a possible breakout here if we get some good news and get going, but doesn't have a good pre-market activity right now. So yeah, no wonder. It did sound familiar. I just couldn't pinpoint what stock that was. All right, let's look at what else we have here. So APHA, thank you, Jason, for that. Let's look at TLRY was the other one. Yeah, Hugo. This was one that was also this was the wild one. This is the one that we kind of stayed away from. It's trading normal now, down to $6, but this was the one that you couldn't touch with a 20-foot pole. I mean, this thing was just horrible. And Guild this morning, again, Guild is had a good day yesterday, but Guild's a little tough to day trade. Right now, I don't see anything exciting on this one. The volume is very light. In the pre-market, aside from the volume, the pre-market is not looking all that clean right now. That could change. I've seen this stock trade very well. It does trade heavy volume on a regular basis. Look at the volume here, 25 million shares traded. So this type of pre-market activity is normal for Guild. But right now, I think we have some really good ones that we can watch this morning. All right, let's do some in our YouTube chat room here. So let's look at Tony's giving us ABT. Let's take a look at that. ABT this morning, light on the volume, only 38,000 shares traded. It's been climbing up slowly here, getting up to this level of 90. A great day yesterday, could possibly put in a continuation, but man, this pre-market right now is not looking all that great. And overall, they're a little bit lighter on the volume. This is why you see this type of action here on the day. Look how choppy this is and how these candles are being built. So again, here it looks a lot better. We're starting to get into a nicer flow here, but overall, man, this stock doesn't trade all that well. So I'm going to skip on this one because the volume is a little bit on the lighter side today. APHA, we do have. So Rayo is giving us that one is up 15% on earnings. We're just going to skip on that one. We're getting AMD on both chats. Let's take a look at that. AMD, nice big day yesterday, giving some back right now. Pretty much following the SPY, looks like. Let's see what the SPY is up to. Let's take a peek there. Again, SPY is just dropping here. Let's see what it does around these levels. We do have this 270, which is the low from 2 days ago. We do have another great level here, which we danced around for a bit. That's this 264, right? So we have some resistance happening here. We had resistance. We broke out of that, and we're able to kind of rally all the way up to 285. So let's see what's going to happen. This 270 is going to be interesting. We have a moving average coming in here as well. Let's see what we do here. Again, we came up against this move close to this moving average around 285. So we'll see what the SPY is going to do today. Right now, it's not looking too good for any longs. So ABT we looked at. Let's take a look at Uber this morning. Mike has given us that. Thanks, Mike. I think we met Mike over at the New York meetup. It's a great guy there. So here we have a decent pre-market activity starting to get going. Now, again, Uber doesn't really have that much pre-market activity unless they have any news. But Uber is interesting, man. It's just been chopping around here, just holding. Right, so let's see if it's going to be able to hold. It's got a nice little base down here. Let's see if it's going to be able to hold that. It has been able to, no matter what the market has done, has been able to hold this for some time. Right now, we're coming up against that. Let's see if we can hold that on Uber. Right, but right now, I'm not seeing anything great. If it does lose this, now that can be very interesting heading towards these levels down here that we have on Uber. All right, what else we have? So we have Disney. Let's take a look at Disney. Trader J is giving us Disney here. So Disney at the moment, not a great pre-market, but this doesn't mean much. Disney usually can have a bad pre-market activity and still trade very well. On the daily though, I'm not seeing anything too exciting. Very much similar to Uber. It's kind of just chopping sideways at the moment. So let's see if it's going to hold this area here in this moving average. But again, right now I'm not seeing anything great. Compared to, again, on a regular normal day, this will be excellent. But again, right now we have some really good stocks that are moving very well. Okay, last one from Jamie. Let's look at BA. And John, you're giving us TVIX, but TVIX is not really tradable right now. It's just, again, when this stock was at 80, $60, you can trade this for a scalp. But this thing is at 229, 230. Norm, I think you mentioned the VIX is probably a more tradable. It's more volatile right now. If you want to trade
VXX.
against VXS, if you want to trade against a SPY, this will be the one to look at. TVIX is just too
It's
high
not as
price.
leveraged, so it isn't going to go against you.
Yeah.
It's not leveraged like the other ones. So it's not
Yeah.
going to go against you. It's one thing when TVIX is $40 and the VIX is
Right.
trading at 11 or something, and there's barely any movement in stocks. But when things are
I
as
agree.
volatile as they are right now, if you're on the wrong side of it, it's hard to manage risk on it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I see what we're doing here. We're doing a reversal because we cannot get into this area here. This is where Norm has to shave. So again, the SPY is going to do whatever it's got to do, but it's not going to get into 30. We're not going to get. This is a danger zone here. We need Norm to grow the beer as long as I have. So we'll see how that goes. All right. So all right, two more guys because I got some good ones here. BA and GE. Let's take a look at those. Let's take a look at BA. BA this morning is dropping down. So BA is dropping down this morning. You can see here it was green. It was nice and green earlier today. So BA is
Did you smear
interesting.
that all over your
So I like BA. Again, it's down 1%, 535,000 shares traded. Yeah, let's keep BA on here, guys. Again, it's not showing up on our scanners because it's between that 2%. But this daily, man, is very, very interesting. What are the airlines doing? The airlines were up. They're still green. So they're still green. They're dropped a bit, but it's still green. But BA is interesting. Okay, last one. GE from Joe. It's giving us GE here. Let's take a look at GE. So GE, tons of volume right now, dropping down pre-market. Look at the pre-market with GE. So it's got 1.6 million shares traded. But the pre-market still looks like it doesn't have that type of volume. Again, it just shows you how much volume GE trades. Again, on a regular basis, GE is trading 70 million shares traded. Look at this. This is all above 70 million shares. So again, they trade very heavy on volume. So this 1.6 doesn't surprise me. This is not big for GE in the pre-market. This is like 30,000 for a regular stock, right? 30,000 shares. So I'm not seeing anything great on here right now. And again, the only time I have traded GE is when they have news. Other than that, there's other stocks that you're going to find are going to trade a lot better. This thing takes a long time to move, guys. To get 10 cents out of this stock, you need, you need some really good catalysts to start pushing it over that 10 cents. And to get, to make it 10 cents, to make it worth your while, you need to take a lot of shares, 3,000 shares, and again, it might not just be worth your while. So unless there's any kind of news here that's going to drive this down below this level we're getting to, GE might not be the best one to have on your list this morning. All right, folks, let's get over to announcements. We got a very active, decent list today. I think we're going to have some fun for sure this morning.
Great. All right, guys, just like we've been doing the last few days, we're going to continue for the rest of the week. We will have the Bear Bull Traders markets close on Wall Street. Closing bells show 3:30 to 4 p.m. Eastern. Now that we're getting earnings, they'll have a lot to talk about right after 4 o'clock as those earnings roll in. Next slide. Yep, there we go. Success webinars. Tonight, we've got Brian Shannon, just awesome, great trader, great follow on Twitter. If he's going to be talking about the trading short term with the anchored VWAP. And then next Wednesday for our success webinar, we're going to have Dr. Kenneth Reed talking about navigating volatility during a bear market. Both are at 8 p.m. Eastern in the Lifetime webinar room. And then last night, Mike did his module 1. I'm guessing that will be up shortly as a recording. Next Tuesday, we've got our Q&A session with with Dr. Katz, our own in-house psychologist. AB will post the link to the forum where you can catch that and post your questions for him. Also, Dr. Katz tomorrow night's going to be doing a special session. He volunteered to put this one on, not really necessarily trading related. It is open to all members just to talk about anxiety and stress during this unprecedented time that we're going through right now. That'll be in our classroom. If you're watching us on YouTube and haven't been in the room, you'd like to, you can do so at a discount. Use the promo code premarket24 when you check out for the intro membership, and that'll give you a discount. Or if you're looking to become a member or upgrade your membership to lifetime, you can do so at a 40% discount. Just use the promo code EarthDay at checkout. That's it.
All right, thank you very much, Noah. Appreciate that. All right, guys, let's get to this nice list we have here. Let's just go through it first and see what we're gonna just eliminate some of the stuff that we have here. So obviously, let's get rid of the SPY here, make some room. So we have American Airlines. Out of the airlines, all three look amazing. Delta, American Airlines look good. United seems not to move as much as Delta and American Airlines this morning, right? Delta seems to have a little more volume and it's moving very well. I like Delta. I like this drop on Delta here. It doesn't have more volume than American Airlines, so either one, pick your choice here. Either one are great. I like Delta. It's a little higher price, so that's nice too. So I'll remove American Airlines and I'll remove United. Delta's the way to go today this morning for me. Tesla, I'm gonna watch, guys. Look at this, just beautiful pre-market activity on Tesla, guys. I mean, this is just trading amazing. So we'll do some levels for that. APA this morning, although I like what's happening here. Again, you have a possible drop that can take place at this moment. I'm going to watch some other stocks that look very well. I want to keep an eye on some good ones that we just saw earlier on. So I'm going to remove APA from my list. You can keep it on yours if you like. Oxy is another one that, although this will be a good possible. Let's throw it down here. This will be a good possible. If these oil companies start dropping, this will be the one that you can watch and it can trade very clean. Again, as I mentioned before, I keep mentioning because I've seen these drops. The drops can be very brutal, so just be cautious in that area and taking a decent number of shares. So I don't go too hard on that one. SPCE has a good pre-market as well. We'll keep an eye on that one. Might not make our final list, but worth doing some levels on. CCL and NCLH, they both look great, but obviously CCL is winning right now with this great pre-market activity and the great volume. Now, as mentioned before, if this one gets too wild, because it can happen at the open, the volume sometimes could be just rush in and be very difficult to read the price action. Look into NCLH and see what that's doing. So we'll throw NCLH here as a backup for CCL in case it's too crazy over there. So we'll look at CCL. RCL also, again, a little lighter on the volume. Could be a good possible, but again, I'm just going to remove this one today. Bank of America is good. Definitely watching this one. Oh, man, it's getting really nice here. So let's hope that it pulls back a bit here. Gives us an opportunity to take this short if it's going to be weak for the day or whatever the case may be. So let's look at Bank of America for sure. JP Morgan also following suit, a continuation day here. Had two red days here though. One of them gapped up nicely and then just gave it all back with the earnings play yesterday. Here's Roku, guys. So Roku at the moment, it's got a good pre-market activity, decent volume. Again, could be a continuation play. They popped up huge yesterday, and today they're kind of barely holding on to the low of yesterday. So let's see how that goes there. And BA, which is Boeing. This one is dropping nice here. I'm not sure any news, guys. If you guys are available, throw some news on there on BA. Again, I didn't look at this one, but this one just is tanking more than the airlines, more than the actual SPY. So interesting what's going on with BA there. All right, so this is our list. These are our possibles that we have down here, guys. Again, these could be explosive stocks today. J&J giving some back this morning. UNH has some good catalysts behind it. mRNA is not looking all that great. I'm going to remove this one from even our possible list. So we got some good ones on here. APHA had earnings. They're trading very clean pre-market, but again, I just don't like the way the stock trades I don't like the price action of this stock. So we'll keep it down here just for the moment. All right, let's start doing some levels here, guys. Let's go over to Delta. Let's remove what we have already. High of our pre-market sitting all the way up at 2660. We'll mark that down. Great area. You can see here we have some already levels being tested on that high of the pre-market at the moment. It kind of double top off of that and bouncing down here. Looks like this thing might want to go towards the previous day close. Let's see what happens. At the moment, we're sitting between the highs of the last two trading days right on here. These are your last two trading days. They're going to create the highs and lows from you, which are very important level, guys. These highs and lows from the last two trading days are significant. You're going to see that they get tested several times as the stock moves forward. So we have your previous day close right on, which is a great level. This is a very, very important level. You always want to have this on your chart. You have the lows from yesterday and the low from 2 days ago, creating a beautiful base towards the bottom. If you want to get fancy, you can put this one down here as well, 2075. Again, I don't think we'll get there unless something major happens, but 2075 clearly an area of great support on there. Towards the top, guys, if we decide to change directions here, 26 above 2665, you have a nice moving average at 2771. In here, these candlesticks are really all over the place. They're not giving you a good support and resistance. You do seem to have one right on here, which the high from these 2 days, 2912. But again, you got some two good ones already. 2771 and 2912 are giving you some good levels towards the top. Although right now, this is looking pretty weak at the moment. We're sitting right at a good level too, the highs from 2 days ago. Let's see if we can hold this here, or we're going to dip lower towards that previous day close. Here is Tesla doing its own thing this morning, man, trading very well. High of the pre-market sitting at 762. Let's mark that down. If we can break out of that, the next area we have here is going to be, the next clean area is going to be all the way up at 805. Again, I don't think we'll make that in one smooth transition. You can see how 805 was a great area of resistance at one point, going back to when we had this just parabolic move all the way up to 9 something. So that area could be nice if we can break out of the 762. It's going to need some help. That's a stretch to get into that area. Towards the bottom, your low of your pre-market sitting at 727, so we'll mark that down. Below that previous day close, lows, the low from yesterday, high from 2 days ago, and low from 2 days ago has got you covered all the way down to 580. So again, just look at the move. This stock was trading just 4 days ago, 5 days ago at 575. We are now at 742, so that's nice to see. Here's SPCE. So this one, this is one of my possibles on this list. Might not make the final cut, but we do have our low of our pre-market sitting at 1750. We do have our high of our pre-market sitting at 1968. In between that, you got the previous day close. Above, you have the highs from yesterday and the low from the last two trading days sitting here below this one, the 16 level. So again, pre-market starting to get a little bit better as we're getting more volume. We're getting a nice little pre-market action here, bouncing off that pre-market low at the moment. But again, looking at everything else, looking at Delta coming off of Tesla and into SPCE, this is probably be in the bottom of the favorites list today. Here's a CCL. So CCL is kind of consolidating between the highs and lows of the last two trading days, the previous day close. You have a moving average in here as well. So again, it's a lot of congestion happening here for CCL. I'm not going to add anything in between there. I think you pretty much cover for the entire range in here. So within this range, you're pretty much covered at the moment. If we get a new pre-market low, we can mark that down. But at the moment, I think you have some really good areas on here. Do not need to add anymore. If we're breaking out of this area, let's zoom out a bit here. We do have a situation here on 1032 where we have some resistance on here. We have a day opening and closing that area. And above this range, we do have a resistance at 1373, and then another great one here at 1458. So again, we got some levels in between here. Let's see what CCL is going to do this morning. Bank of America, oh man, Bank of America, look at this. So we're dropping now towards the top of your cover, highs and lows from the last two trading days and previous day close, very much at the high of the pre-market this morning. It looks like we're going to break down even further this morning. The way this is looking right now, it's got some good volume. Yep, I'm not going to mark that pre-market low right there. But this pre-market low here, actually at where it is right now, is worth marking down. 22.47. You do have some areas of resistance and support happening in here. So if you draw a line across where the price action is right now, you can see how the price action has been kind of trading in that at that price range, right? So mark that down. Even if we lose it, we'll mark a new pre-market low. But right now, I think this will be a good level to have if we get some kind of pullback, even if we drop further. Again, this in here, guys, this is not a clean daily. When you have this type of daily chart, it's very difficult to find these great levels are very clean and clear. You do have somewhat of another one around 2182. Again, these are minor levels because they're not as clean as when you have a nice pop and a reversal, right? But on here, 2182, you can see several days opening, closing, bouncing off that date of that level. So we'll keep that on there. Let's see what it's going to do at this 2247 if we're going to get a pullback here. But right now, it just looks like highway to hell. JP Morgan somewhat following suit as well. Low of the pre-market right now at 91.90. So let's mark that down. Let's see if we can hold that. If it drops down, we do have an excellent level here. Again, given the information we have, which is not great over here. 90 seems to be an area where you have some support resistance happening around that level. So we'll keep an eye on that. Below that, in case we drop even further, we have another one at 87. So again, just doing the best we can with this type of daily, which is not looking all that clean. So let's look at, actually from these two guys, I'm going to keep Bank of America. I think JP Morgan will be a good one for a possible down here. So we'll throw it down. Good continuation play today. Again, had a bad day yesterday. And it looks like it's looking like it's going to have one again today. Let's see if things can turn around for it. I'm going to remove it from our main list. Let's keep an eye on it for later on. Here's Roku at the moment. So Roku, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we got to get rid of one. And it might be SPCE and Roku. And Roku can move down to a secondary list. Let's look at Roku at the moment. So right now, highs and lows from the last two trading has got you covered, especially towards the bottom, right? Because we just gapped up. So you have your levels on here all set for you. Previous day close very close to the high of the pre-market, so you do not need to mark that down. Above the highs from 2 days ago, you do have an area here where it was tested several times within this range. We're bouncing back and forth here between that 114 and that looks like to be like that 109, which is the high of yesterday. We had some pretty good bounces off of that in the previous day close, so that's a good level to have. And then towards the bottom, you're pretty much covered. But again, Roku could be the sleeper. I'm going to keep Roku here on the top of our secondary list. And we're going to fine tune this secondary list because it's getting a little bit big here. So we'll fine tune that, but we'll keep Roku on the secondary. BA continues to drop here. It did not lose this level, though. Now, this level in here that we've been testing, it did dip below it a little, but it's still kind of holding it. So we'll see what it does. Low of the pre-market sitting at 137.50. Then below that, guys, we do have some levels down here on this daily at 129 and then all the way down here at 119. So we got some good levels towards the bottom here. Again, trading nicely this morning. Got some good pre-market activities. Got some really nice volume at 657 right now, down 1.6. So I like BA at the moment. Just to recap on our main list, Delta is looking good. Tesla is going to be the one that's trading nicely this morning. SPCE is okay, not great. CCL, Bank of America, and we have Boeing. Now for our secondary list, guys, let's go through it. I like Roku. It could be very explosive. Oxy is trading down. This could be a good one today. If you want to watch an oil company, this could be a nice one to keep an eye on. APHA, I'm going to remove this one, guys. I'm just not a fan of it. HPHA, I'm going to remove that one. J&J could be explosive. UNH is Norm's got some catalysts that he mentioned on that one. That could be explosive as well. They're reporting some good numbers on there. J&J I'm going to remove, guys. I think I'd rather watch UNH this morning. NCLH is the backup for CCL in case it gets too wild. And JP Morgan. Yeah, I think we have an excellent list, main list, an excellent backup secondary list. I think we're set to go for the open here. All right, guys. Hopefully you have a great list as well. Whether it's slightly different than ours, that's okay. Let's see what some of the moderators are watching this morning. Let's start with Peter. Peter is watching Bank of America, American Airlines, CCL, and ADM. We did not take a look at ADM. Let's take a look at that. What's that doing this morning? So no volume, so you probably have some kind of news on it while you're watching ADM. Or is that AMD? Did you mean AMD? Secondary list, he has Delta, Tesla, UNH, GS, and Citigroup, and JetBlue. So yeah, he meant AMD, right? AMD. Let's see what AMD is up to this morning. AMD is actually trading very nice as well, and AMD could be a good one also. And this is the great thing, that if you have other moderators and other members watching different stocks and something happens, they'll call it out. You can tune into that stock and see if you have an opportunity there as well. And also, we have our scanners, right? Maybe Roku will pop up in our scanner, turbo breakup, and we could take advantage of that as well. So that's great to have. Norm, anything you like this morning?
Oh man, I've had
Norm froze on me. He's connected.
You there?
Back. Yep, now I got you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if it was you or me, man. No, I haven't. I've been busy taking care of this thing climbing on me. So now that his mom's off a phone call, I can put my list together and finalize that. I think you've touched on everything. UNH is one.
Yep.
I'll have my eye on Goldman Sachs too, but same stuff a lot of these guys our mods are saying.
Yep. Here is Brian. Brian is watching CCL. SQ, we did not look at SQ. Let's take a look at that one this morning. So SQ could be nice. This is Brian's. This was at one point Brian's favorite, most popular stock. He was trading this almost every single day and just straight killing it. So I don't see much going on right now. But again, this could be one that Brian just has a soft spot for because he can trade it very well. AMD, XS, Bank of America, and VIX are going to be on his watch list today. Thor is watching, where's Thor's list? Oh, here it is. Thor is watching CCL, American Airlines, Delta, and Uber. Eamon is watching Tesla, CCL, American Airlines, and Oxy. So again, so it's just a pretty nice list all around. And Thor is adding Bank of America. All right, excellent, guys. That is what we have. Thank you so much for joining the pre-market show. 9 minutes to the open. We're going to go into the chat room and prepare. If you want to check our chat room, we have a trial, which I think is for a week for $24, pre-market 24. Give it a shot, guys. Within a week, you will know if this is right for you or not. Again, there are many communities out there. Try some out and see which one best fits your style. Talk to you guys soon. Take care. We'll see you tomorrow, 8:30 Eastern time.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.